Hello and welcome. My name is Melissa Robinson and we are here today in my studio, and I am about to tell you the story of how it came to be that way, because it hasn't always looked like this, for better or worse.
It began on a lovely day. I awoke feeling rested. The sun was shining brightly. The things with which I had surrounded myself were all in order. I felt almost ready to meet what the day had to offer. All I needed was a cozy cup of tea to get me started. But as I sipped my tea, my eyes fell upon one room. I was reminded that all was not cozy. Something had to be done.
I actually started this whole room transformation a while back before I ever got this camera and started filming. So that half of the transformation actually happened a little bit beforehand. I think it took about 2 days to paint just the other half of the room, actually the half that the camera's on that you can't see. I did want to paint this chalkboard wall, but once I did the other half of the room, I was sort of just gonna stop there, but then I got the idea to do a bunch of other things. So I'm gonna be showing day by day what I did. So for the purpose of this video, when I say day 1, day 2, that's actually going to be just the second day of this week.
I started by only removing the things that I needed to get out of the way so that I could access that wall where the chalkboard is going to be. That meant completely removing this middle shelf and moving the buffet out of the way. I then marked out where I wanted the chalkboard to end. I then got to work with sanding. The walls aren't particularly textured here, but there have been several layers of paint over the years. And the paint rollers used to apply said paint leaves its own little speckly orange peel texture.
Okay, I just finished sanding and this paint is stuck on my hands now. Look at that. And it's just on there. It's not like dust, which is really weird. I was using my hands to brush the little globs of paint off, but I wasn't expecting this. It should just come off with a wash, but I just thought that was really interesting since I hadn't ever sanded a painted wall before. See, they washed off easily. Next, it's time to go ahead and start doing some chalkboard paint. I've got my paint here, and I'm using these foam rollers because they should keep it from getting too texturized, like these regular furry rollers tend to add texture. So hopefully this will make it more smooth, which should be better, I think, for doing chalkboard stuff. So we'll see.
footage of me actually applying the chalkboard paint. Moving on. So now, in addition to moving my buffet, I also need to move all of this.
I think that's enough. I think I'll be able to squeeze in here, and if I'm wrong, I can always move a little more. Here goes.
And there was not enough space for me to do this effectively, especially since I decided not to tape it, which resulted in me having to wipe up dribble from a subpar paint job. For this part, my perfectionist self took a little bit of a vacation because this part was going to end up being behind the buffet anyways, so I just kind of let some things slide. And if you were truly lamenting the loss of that chalkboard painting footage, here's some footage that looks pretty similar to what that looked like. One coat, 2 coats, and we're moving on. Here I'm using a router to cut a groove into that trim that's going to go underneath the chalkboard. After this, I painted it copper and then attached it to the wall. And as you can see, the little groove makes it so I can put chalk on it without having it fall off. I always check out the mist tints at Home Depot because one person's unwanted paint color is another person's score. I'm using the aforementioned colors to create an effect upon my walls. I call this effect Abandoned Swamp Witch Cottage Grows Greenish Mold. Basically, I just layer on wet color and then blend it together. I try to do this in a pattern that appears organic, like water was getting in and just pooling at the edges of the room. And then the mold came in and just started taking over. But you know, in like a whimsical, romantic way. And you blend and blend and blend. Blending's the secret. But you can see in these shots how it looks on the other half of the room that I had already finished. This is the wall behind the buffet. I'm adding a copper border to the different segments of the wall so that it kind of matches the other parts that actually have trim. Here I have to touch stuff up where some paint got in underneath the protective measures I put down. I was up early this morning because I was too excited and I wanted to see how the trim looked. Then I got started on something that wasn't in my original plans for the room. This is an Art Nouveau design for a stencil I was going to put on the bottom half of the walls just to add a little extra creative flair. I cut it out on my Cricut and then mixed some lighter green so that I could start painting in the stencil. I had recently watched a Christine McConnell video in which she did a stencil and said that actually rollering on the paint was the best way to do it, and it worked out very nicely for my purposes too.
I absolutely love, 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 love how this room came out. It looks so much better and it's a little bit more organized. The closet area, just, we're not gonna look at it for now. I have a whole nother project planned for that and I'll be filming that process too, so there will be something covering up all the mess that's in the closet. I am just so happy with how everything turned out. That's everything. Thank you so, so much for watching. Please give me a like, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. I do sewing projects, art, and stuff like this. Thanks. Bye.